just winter's coming up, and it's a great time to do things indoors in your home, whether it's the basement or whether it's a small space. You don't need much room. And I made a little tennis stand, and it's just like this is an old baseball. It's a baseball stand. I just put a piece of plastic, ran a spring through the middle, and a little screw and cap on it, and now I have it where I can just practice. And the idea is not to hit hard, but to practice softly. And you can use different rackets. I use an older racket I picked up at the thrift store. Has a cover on. I can add weight, and then I can take it off, and then actually the racket, of course, is going to be a lot lighter. Kind of like the baseball donut concept, but it's a great way of practicing your hand-eye coordination in the wintertime. A lot of times kids will take lessons, young people take lessons all winter long, but never have a way to practice. And this is a great way to practice. Here I'm hitting the ball. You can see it's up high, it's higher, so I have a stand, I go right across, and I just practice making contact. It's a great way of getting that hand-eye coordination. I can practice backhands, left hand forehands, I can practice two hands. I like a drill where I practice left hand forehands, I practice my right-handed backhand, and then I practice two hands. In fact, if you think about it, all a left-handed forehand is, you put your other hand, and there you have a two-handed backhand. I suggest putting your knuckles on top and getting used to, doing that with the knuckle. That way, when you let go, you have that leverage. And so here is just an easy way of practicing. I made this stand. I just made this stand this morning, and so from discarded parts that people get rid of, I made this from a lamp. Here is another stand, just a simple stand. This will knock over if you don't hit it. Just you have to hit easy, and I'm just practicing. And that ball's not. It just you hear the spring. You hear the spring. So I'm practicing. It's a great way of practicing. And so I have two stands, two rackets, and I just practice left-handed and right-handed. And so I can practice with two rackets. I can practice one racket. And so just a simple stand. And so I encourage you to find some way to practice in the winter. That way spring comes and you have your hand-eye coordination. Plus, you can listen to maybe a lecture from school. You can listen to something that was going to help you, some classical music perhaps. Perhaps you can listen to a lecture. Perhaps you can listen to something that's going to benefit your life or benefit someone else's life. Perhaps you can watch something that you enjoy and or listen to while you're practicing. And so here's a great way to practice hand-eye coordination. I can practice both forehand and backhand, and I just start with short racket, practice with the short choke up my racket, practice, getting that feel, finding the ball with the racket, feeling the ball with the strings, and then a short follow through. And so I can lengthen my hand, lengthen my racket, and so now when you lengthen it, you get more power. And then I also can practice on being loose. So various ways. I can practice both left-handed, finding the ball, and I can play right-handed. And I can practice in the sense of when you're playing goalie for soccer, or when you're playing goalie for soccer or hockey, they stand in the open stance. In tennis, you have an open stance. A lot of times people are turning sideways in the closed stance, but why not practice with an open stance and practice the hitting? And that's a great way. And when you need to, then you turn sideways. But an open stance is going to help you be able to face your opponent and be able to detect the ball coming. Instead of turning it sideways, and then you have to turn all the way around, we'll work on open stance, perhaps in the winter. And so, right now I'm facing the camera, and you can see how I'm doing it. It's an open stance, like a goalie, or someone, I'm a goalie, perhaps in soccer, or hockey, and or a boxer. A boxer's not going to turn like this, he's going to be like this, and then when he wants to hit, he might turn sideways. That's like a tennis player, too. And so there's a lot of analogy there. When you're guarding someone in basketball, you're like this, you're not like this guarding them. They'll run right around you. Okay, and so just the little principles, analogies you can make in other sports. It's a great way to learn. And so if I can help you, give you ideas about practicing, or I can make you a simple stand, please let me know, and I'll help you out. Be creative, make your own. You need a spring, some kind of base, which is from a lamp or perhaps a fan. You screw a hole in it, and put a spring in it, and use maybe some duct tape. That'll help. Duct tape is good for anything, and that way you can practice. I hope this is helpful, and if I can encourage you in any way in your tennis practice in the winter, let me know. Home's a great place to practice. If you're playing an instrument, a violin, you need a violin. You need to practice at home. You just can't use a teacher's. if you are practicing piano, you need a piano or a keyboard to practice at home. Otherwise, you'll never become proficient at it. In the same way, tennis, you just can't take a $100 lesson or $50 lesson and then all of a sudden never practice. You have to find some ways that you're going to practice your hand-eye coordination. And one way to practice is just getting hand-eye coordination. Is make a simple stand like this, and then practice. And you can see how I enjoy doing something like this, and I'll enjoy helping others improve too. And that way, you're always practicing. And here I have a stand over here. I have two stands now. This one here is a little higher, and I'm not sure if you can see it. I'll put it right next to this stand. And I have two stands here, and I can just practice getting two balls and go right through. So it's a great way of practicing. So I'm pushing through, and sometimes I'll put 3 or 4, 5, 6, 7 stands in my living room, and I'll move all over the living room practicing. And so this is a great way of practicing. If there's any way I can help you, this is Coach Tom, and so feel free to let me know. I'd love to help you.